Thanks, Karine. On Friday, you stood here, though, and were asked about these documents issued by our count some 18 times. At that point, the president's lawyers had found these 5 additional pages of classified documents. So did you not know on Friday that those documents had been found when you were at the podium, or are you being directed by someone to not be forthcoming on this issue?
I have been forthcoming from this podium. What I said yes to was what the statement at the time that we all had. Right, you all had the statement, and I was repeating what the council was sharing at that time. Right, we had
that statement, so we knew what was in it. But you also knew. Did you not know that?
I'm telling you, I just answered the question. I just said that I was repeating what the information that we had at that time. Right, that you all had. I was confirming from what the special counsel had provided to all of you, and that we knew as well from here. So just to be very, very clear, and look. I've also been very clear about being prudent from here. I was also being very clear about being consistent from here and not going beyond what is currently happening.
All right, guys, so we got to check in on the affirmative action press secretary who, in my opinion, I think that her days are numbered, okay? I think that I'll give her maybe 6 more months, right, in this job, because she is now getting openly trashed by the liberal media journalists in the White House because she's just not answering questions. She's useless, right? And I've said this before when covering Karine Jean-Pierre, particularly when it comes to the situation about Biden and these classified documents that he allegedly stole from the White House. It is a waste of time to have these press conferences with Karine Jean-Pierre because she does not answer questions. She's just simply not giving any answers outside of the cookie cutter answers that she has in her notebooks. And now you have the liberal media journalists who are on her team, right? They're all on the same team. They're so frustrated that they're now openly trashing her even at the press conference. And I'm going to play that video. But first, I actually want to play a video of some of the questions that Karine Jean-Pierre has been asked. Okay, and I want you guys to pay attention to her responses, and you will immediately see why these liberal media journalists are getting frustrated with her. Take a look.
What is the White House trying to hide?
Nothing.
When will the White House release a log of visitors to the Wilmington House?
You know, Peter, you've asked this question, or your colleagues have asked this question before. Let's not forget what we did here in this White House. We instituted something that the last administration got rid of, which is putting out the White House, making sure that there was a White House log, extensive White House log.
Why were these classified documents being stored in his garage?
Look, again, and not just me, he has said this. You've heard the president say this twice already, and he's said this before, classified documents and information. He takes that very seriously. I am telling you that I'm not going to get ahead of what the Department of Justice is going to decide. This is something, as you all know, that he will not shy away from saying, and has continued to say this week. And again, he was surprised that these records have been found.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. She basically doesn't answer any questions, okay? Any of the important questions that people want to know about these documents, she's just refusing to answer, okay? And deflecting to Trump and talking about the last administration, that's not cutting it. Because again, these liberal media journalists have gotten to the point now where they're openly trashing her in the White House press conference room. Take a look.
And we're just going to try to move on here, and we're going to move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move on.
One more advocacy. Are you upset that you came out to this podium on Friday with incomplete and inaccurate information? And are you concerned that it affects your credibility up here?
Well, what I'm concerned about is making sure that we do not politically interfere in the Department of Justice, that we continue to be consistent over the last 2 years, and that is continue to refer you all when it comes to an ongoing process, and I'll just leave it there. And let's not forget, there was actually a statement from the counsel's office that you all had at the same time as well. I'm just not going to go down any rabbit hole here. I'm going to be very consistent. I'm going to be very prudent. And again, I've been asked that question. I've answered it. It's been noted, the question, and we're just going to move on. Go ahead, together. Okay, folks, have together. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
You told me 6 times that turned out to be false. Are you sorry about that?
I'll see you tomorrow. Come talk to me. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, so you guys seen that, you heard that. You had the liberal media reporters calling out Karine Jean-Pierre for basically giving incomplete and false information, which is something she's been doing since day one on the job. And for whatever reason, now all of a sudden when it comes to Biden and these classified documents, because it seems to me that the liberal media establishment had decided that they want to crucify Biden over this, right? Now all of a sudden they are concerned about the incomplete and false information that she's given when she's been doing that the whole time. Okay. And they are fed up, right? They're fed up with not getting any answers. They're fed up with her performance. And they are now, again, like openly trashing her. And there's apparently this new report out in which you have journalists basically expressing their frustration with Karine Jean-Pierre. Okay. So we have here White House correspondents reportedly fed up with Jean-Pierre. Briefings, quote, a painful waste of time, which is something I've been saying, right, for a long time, is that it's a waste of time. I mean, she might as well just post her notebook on the website, on the White House website, and say, hey, this is all that I have for you today, because she doesn't give any answers outside of that. So let's read here. The White House press corps has, according to a new report, grown exasperated with Karine Jean-Pierre. For the Wednesday edition of CNN's Reliable Sources newsletter, media correspondent Oliver Darcy spoke with more than a half dozen members of the White House press corps, and they have become increasingly frustrated with a press secretary who, in their view, seldom, if ever, strays from talking points and is even providing false information. Oh, so Democrats spreading misinformation, right? Again, that is par for the course from my perspective, because they're always lying, okay? But now, again, when it comes to Biden, these classified documents, for whatever reason, the liberal media now cares about this. Quote, she is arguably the least effective White House press secretary of the television era, said one unnamed reporter who Darcy identified as a White House veteran, though this person did exclude Trump-era press secretaries from that dig. Well, I mean, again, you know, these people, they always got to show their anti-Trump bias, right? Even when they're criticizing Democrats. But there's no doubt in my mind that Karine Jean-Pierre is definitely worse than Kayleigh McEnany or Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Okay. I think those are the two press secretaries under the Trump administration. He might have had more, but those are two I can think of off the top of my head. Another White House reporter told CNN, you just get the feeling that you're wasting your time and whatever is in front of her in the binder is all she is going to say, no matter how many times you ask the question. It's just a painful waste of time. The correspondents were particularly roiled by Jean-Pierre's briefings last week. On Thursday afternoon, she repeatedly said that the administration's search for classified documents had been completed. However, on Thursday night, 5 additional classified documents were found at President Biden's Wilmington, Delaware residence. Jean-Pierre did not disclose the discovery of the documents at Friday's briefing. The information wasn't revealed until the White House released a statement on Saturday. Yeah, so she lied, right? She just flat out lied. She lied to reporters in the most embarrassing way possible, considering how the White House later on admitted that they found more documents later. Okay, so she either didn't know, which is embarrassing, or she lied, which is embarrassing, right? Again, this is going to end badly for her. I really do. I really do believe that. At Jean-Pierre's next briefing on Tuesday, the press secretary was grilled on whether the discovery of documents had been concealed from her or she knew about them and intentionally misled the reporters in the room. After multiple lengthy non-answers, Jean-Pierre finally said that she did not know the documents had been discovered ahead of Friday's briefing. Yeah, so she didn't know. And again, that's embarrassing, right? That is embarrassing that the person who's supposed to know everything did not know probably the most important question of the day. Again, this is what happens when you have affirmative action hires. When you have people that have been hired into this position because characteristics and attributes that have nothing to do with their actual qualifications, okay? Turns out that her sleeping with other women and having dark skin and allegedly having a vagina has nothing to do with her qualifications or her ability to perform her job well. Right? Who would have thought, okay? Who would have thought that having infinity stones of wokeness would not translate to being able to do this job well? But again, people on the right or conservatives who criticize affirmative action hires, we're smeared as being racist. No, it doesn't come from a place of racism. It just comes from a place of we should have the best people running this stuff, right? We should have people that are put into jobs simply because of their skin color or who they like to sleep with or their sex. That should not be what we're doing. But that is what the Biden administration is doing, and they keep paying the price for it. Every single time they pay the price for it. Because it is clear and obvious that these people are not getting jobs because of their qualifications. They're getting jobs for virtue signaling points. And this is what you get. You get non-answers, you get BS, and you get embarrassed, right? This is an embarrassment for the Biden administration. According to the CNN report, the incident did not go over well with the press corps. Quote, there is the expectation that when you say something, it's going to be true. An unnamed White House correspondent told Darcy that's been the biggest credibility hit for her. It's answering a question in a way that ends up not being true, aka lying, which is what she's been doing from day one. Again, now all of a sudden they have a problem with it. The White House responded to the article with an unnamed spokesperson providing a statement. Quote, a lot of this sounds more like theater criticism than concern about ability to report facts for the American people's benefit, the spokesperson said. Still, one White House reporter's comment to Darcy suggests that the tension in the briefing room has only just begun to mount. Quote, the temperature has gone up a lot in the last few days. Well, again, it should have been like that from the beginning. You shouldn't have been so happy-go-lucky. Oh, we're on the same team. Oh, we support Democrats. Oh, we love Biden. You shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. Because you allow her to get away with the lies and the non-answers. And then lo and behold, when you have an incident where, yeah, the American people are demanding answers on the fact that Joe Biden basically stole classified documents. Now, oh, you're not getting answers, you're getting lies. Now all of a sudden y'all want to be offended. Now all of a sudden y'all butthurt about it. And it's like, well, you should have been like this from the get-go. This is why you shouldn't be buddy-buddy with the administration if you're in the media. You should have been adversarial with her from the get-go and let her know that these non-answers, these deflections are not acceptable and we're going to call you out on it. But they didn't do that. They let her get away with it, and now all of a sudden they're surprised that, you know, she's continuing to do that when it comes to a situation in which they are demanding like real answers. So again, this is embarrassing. At some point, I expect the White House or Karine Jean-Pierre to pull the race card, the homophobia card, the sexism card, and Karine Jean-Pierre will then, resign and then go get a show on MSNBC that nobody will watch. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.